right, well, I guess this one comes down to one question only. Are you a glass half full or half empty guy? After watching the Boston Bruins beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-2 on Tuesday evening, this is Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, and we get you through the next couple of minutes and go through the game a bit. And I mean, a game that had three different personalities to it, almost for both teams, but we'll focus on the Bruins, obviously. Razor, is this a good win for a team, or is this a concerning performance that they somehow find a way to squeak out the 2 points?
It's certainly, we've gone through this for 3 weeks now. What is it? What is it? A good win, bad win? Are these good points, bad points? What do we, they're giving us something every night. I as you know, I'm more, I try and stay on the optimistic side. I'm more of a glass half full guy. I think it's a good win in the fact that this was the team that's chasing them. And I understand the Rangers are tied with this team, but this was the team. Mm-hmm. These were the two games they needed to get points to feel a little more comfortable for a playoff spot. So I'll look at it from that point of view, in the fact that they've put some distance between them now. And it makes it really difficult with that win for Philly to come back if the Bruins find a way.
But does this give you hope for this team, like real legitimate hope, Razor, that they're a contending team?
I think getting in the playoffs gives you it. I think getting in the playoffs this year and how crazy the playoffs are going to be is what's hopeful. I think you have to get in. And beyond that, and more than any year that we've ever seen, playoffs are going to be wild. So I've been really focused on that playoff spot. I wasn't as comfortable with them 3 or 4 days ago. If they had lost this game, they'd only be up by 1 point. Uh-huh. That's a big difference than where they're at 3 hours later.
Right. So you win on Tuesday night. You separate yourself. The Rangers do win as well on Tuesday over Pittsburgh, who. What is Pittsburgh now giving up? 7 goals and then 8 goals, 15 goals in 2 games? Holy smokes. Talk about...
Bruins fans know what that feels like.
Yeah, feast or famine, you're right.
Right.
But, okay, so it's a team, this Bruins team, though, literally plays pretty well the first period for what they are. A team that's
in a
2-0 lead. I thought the first period was real good. Second half was, you started to see a lot of weaknesses to their game. I thought a lot of exposure, middle of the ice open, some turnovers started to creep in. But you have not only a rookie goalie, a first time ever appearing in the NHL goalie, and you have a team without their best defenseman, arguably their team MVP. I don't think there's actually an argument. Charlie McAvoy.
No.
They announced 30 minutes before game time is not going to be taking warm-up and therefore not playing. So you've got that going, and yet the team starts, not bad. Good road period, back-to-back. I mean, you want to talk about a calamity of a second period, though. Oh, my God. Awful. I mean.
Worst period they played all year. Not even. Worst period they probably played in 5 years here. Since Cassidy's here, I bet that's the worst period they've had.
Well, it's right.
I don't know the numbers.
You
can look at the analytics. But I bet they haven't played a worse period.
It was awful.
25 shots against,
and there
was 3 posts. There was missed nets. Like there was the best opportunities they missed.
Right. And of those 25 that hit the net, a lot of them were solid chances. Now you know. Swayman was good. Did he steal the game? No, I don't think so. He was good. He was really good. But this Bruin team, I don't say got lucky, but they got lucky getting out of that period, 2-2. Mm-hmm. Third period was defensively as well as they've played now in a while. Just gave up 4 shots.
It was a gem. It was a perfectly played road third period defensively, which is, how does that happen after playing the worst period you could possibly play defensively? Wild.
So they get their goals from Bergeron, from Marchand. So again, I repeat the question, and I'm almost throwing it out there, not even just to you, Razor, but just to be,
I know.
I mean, does this team have enough? Now, you say get into the playoffs. Okay, I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of with you. I want to be more with you, buddy. I really do. But until others, and I don't mean Krejci and Pastrnak and I guess Richie, who didn't play a lot on Tuesday night and who didn't play great, I don't think. Not that impactful. Again, okay? But until...
Poor management of the puck.
Right. Until somebody else does regularly, I just don't know. So now there throws out the question again. Does that mean they really need a trade? Or does that mean don't move anything because this team you just don't know about? So it's rhetorical. We get a lot of replies about this. It's fascinating, the replies that people give us between social media, the YouTube channel, etc., the vast, wide swath of everything. I don't even know if there's an answer anymore, but they've got to make one in the next couple of days, I'd much rather see Kyle Palmieri with this team than Taylor Hall. I just don't know if either one of them is realistic,
Yeah. I know, and we keep hammering those. And what else is available? Is there someone off the board that we don't know about, that no one's talking about, that everyone's keeping quiet? And but yeah, it's a fascinating 5 or 6 days here of what this team is going to do, and what Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, the organization thinks of this team right now. We're going to get the answer on that in the next 6 days, which will be quite interesting.
Right. And we have to see what happens with Tuukka Rask. I don't even, look, we know he's either going to play
no
or
Tuukka,
not
no
play.
Charlie, no Carlo.
Right.
No Tuukka, right. No Charlie, no Carlo.
And if Tuukka's really doesn't respond well and really not ready, and Carlo is week to week, man, oh man, I just don't know, buddy, if you can give up a lot to make these big moves, unless you have to know that those guys are coming back.
100%, 1,000%. I'm with you on that. Those are the answers that none of us have those are the questions none of us have the answers to. Mm-hmm. I look at this group. If you add those 3 guys into this lineup and let them try and go on a playoff run, you're gonna. I just think we'll feel okay about it. Certainly with what the lineup is right now, you're not going to. But those are 3 massive pieces.
Yeah,
massive.
So Charlie Coyle played 18:04. I'm not trying to skirt by Marchand and Bergeron. I mean, the goals were great.
We talk about them every night.
But we talk about them all the time. Right.
There's just nothing else to say about it.
Right. They did not only did they do their job, they literally carried their team. I mean, their backs, they should be getting massages tomorrow, compliments of about 15 players on that team for carrying them at times. Coyle played over 18 minutes. His line mate, Jake DeBrusk, played 15 and a half minutes. The reason I'm bringing up these numbers, and Carson Coleman played 14:20, is that they played more minutes than some of these guys. Like Nick Ritchie played 12:50. I mean, David Krejci played 13:41. So, these guys, I guess they stepped up in their own right. Listen, Jakub Zboril, I've said this a few times. He keeps getting to play. I think for the Caps game on Thursday, Razor, doesn't he have to take a seat and watch? I mean,
yeah, he needs a break. You can spin it any way, however you'd like it, but he's got to, he's got to take a little break, watch the game. He only played 11 minutes tonight. And I know we're going to get to Kevin Miller and the minutes he played, but you cannot have, with Charlie McAvoy out, you can't afford to have a 6th defenseman in your lineup only play 11 minutes. Because the other guys can't they just can't eat those minutes on a consistent basis. So if you don't have the confidence to put Zboril in an offensive game, which the Capitals is probably going to be, you need to put Tonordi in, let him check back in probably a physical game to play 15, 16 minutes. So you eat a couple minutes here and there for the other guys, because Kevin Miller can't play 25 minutes. Camphor can't play 25 minutes on a nightly basis. It's just not. They just can't do it physically.
Bruce Cassidy, after the game on Tuesday, mentioned no update on Charlie when asked about it, Charlie McAvoy, that is, and said, day to day, have no idea. We showed what we thought could have been the hit that resulted in an upper body injury. That's just us guessing. But it didn't look. It looked very possible, distinctly possible when he got ridden hard into the wall, got his left arm extended up. Could be shoulder, could be elbow, could be wrist, could be anything, but it was something there. Let's go to Kevin Miller. And by the way, as taking a sip out of my morning brew, I really want to thank the Connollys, by the way. Okay, Danny Connolly and his wife, who I didn't get her name because in the letter, Danny, you didn't tell me her name. So it was my wife and I. And I'm a big believer in this, as I go on a tangent for a minute, that, you address somebody by their name as much as possible. And so Danny's wife, I'm not addressing you as Danny's wife because you're not just Danny's wife. I'm sure you're the brains of the operation and everything. But whatever Danny's wife's name is, we'll call her, I don't know. We'll just call her Danny's wife for now. I want to thank you. Both Razor and I want to thank you. We got these mugs. They sent us. It was a very nice bag. We hadn't been in Nesson for a couple of weeks because we've been at the Garden, which has been wonderful. So Danny and his wife, who live in Illinois, my home state originally, but are former Bostonians, said that they felt sorry for us after looking at my little tape job on my mug that I had a few weeks ago. That was never meant to be anything more than a tape job, but it worked. It worked. We got somebody that sent us mugs. That's what we were actually after all along. No, just kidding. But Danny, thank you very much. So I'm using mine and truly enjoying the morning brew in it. You brought up Kevin Miller, and he was, in my eyes, spectacular. I know he wasn't the player of the game in the arena, Razor, or even on our telecast. We gave it to Swayman. I get it, all that stuff. You could argue he could have been the player of the game, given what he did after being out for 20.
Yeah, certainly. And he would have challenged even more if he not had 4 penalty minutes in the third, because he would have gotten over that 25-minute mark pretty handily had he not done that. Very just solid back there, and you talk about communication and leadership and physicality, everything you would expect out of Kevin. He brought it tonight, and it was noticeable what he means to this team when he's not in the lineup, and what he brings when he's in. It gives them a little bit more of an identity back there. It allows the Zaboros, it allows the Cliftons, it allows the Grizzlies to play a little bigger on the back end. And again, 11-3-1 with him in the lineup. It's an interesting number that increased or got better tonight.
The scary part is, I'm now worried, instead of wanting to celebrate his performance, which I did internally watching the game on Tuesday night, working the game with you on Tuesday, Razor, is I'm worried, I'm like, oh God, is the knee going to be okay for Thursday? Is it going? I mean, that's where we're at now, right? I mean, that's, and I don't mean to be negative, but that's just where I go. They need.
I mean, you got to imagine he wakes up, goes to sleep every night thinking the same thing. How's this going to feel when I wake up?
No, you're right. But standing up, not so much to Konechny, but when Sammy Morin came over after the little dust up with Konechny, he's just telling him, and by the way, Sammy Morin's a big, big boy, but he's just like, get out, get out. You're not going to do anything. Mm-hmm. He got another penalty, which, like you said, they were penalties. But I just love the confidence that he brings. Just loves the confidence.
And the end of the game, right? The end of the game, he's in front. He's battling in the corner. He's cross-checking guys in front. He's hard to play against with a minute left in the game. And if he wasn't there, who's out there at that time? Those are important times in the game that he's gone through before, and this coaching staff certainly has a lot of confidence in him during those times.
So he was there, and he helped out. Guarantee he helped out Swayman an awful lot. Jeremy Swayman coming in, bringing confidence as well. At least from my, outsider perspective, looking in through the lens of the television, because that's how we have to call games now on the road. He never looked uncomfortable or unsure to me. And as I know, we've already talked about your first game. I don't want to go back to that years ago, but I do want to talk about, can you remember your emotions meaning throughout that game. And did you? I mean, the camera caught him numerous times that we marked smiling, not fake laughing. You know, there's that I'm going to laugh just show everybody I'm okay. It was like, this is great, good, all good, no problem. Could you relate to that? Like, did you feel like that in your first game?
Yeah, I did. I was that kind of a guy on the ice. I like to talk to the refs and chat, and I wasn't all in and so focused and so grinding all the time. If I was playing, even that's when you're at your best, when you look like that. For me, nice and relaxed, nice and calm, just playing, well focused. I thought, to Swayman's point, he gave up 2 quick ones early in the second. You could let that get away from you as a younger guy. And yeah, the first period, you're going to have all the adrenaline, all the nerves, all that anxiety. You're probably going to be really well focused. To give up 2 quick ones in the second, to hang on to that, to not get tired, to not get mentally fatigued, to not get frustrated, to not get rattled, essentially was nicely done by him, to be able to keep that the train on the tracks for him personally and for the team in secondary was good for a young kid that could easily have gotten away from him on the road today. Because if he gives up one more, it's 3-2. That's really hard to come back after giving up 3 goals real early in a second period.
Well, from getting this chance to watch him in a game compared to the preseason stuff that you saw him and Vladar do a little bit here and there, which wasn't even a lot, but just you had the eye test there. What's his best quality as a goaltender physically? I'm not talking about the emotional aspect of it. What did you think was his best quality?
Well, he certainly moves well. He's the modern age goalie, and I quickly touched on the broadcast. He's had a goalie coach. He's got mental coaches. His technique is superb. He plays the puck well for a young guy. Physically plays it more. Well, he still needs more.
He plays it more than. Well, I'll compare him to Vladar
for sure.
He's coming out.
Yeah, well, that's as good of a comparison as any, and physically he can do it. He's going to learn hockey sense and understand forecheck and all the things we've talked about with Dan as well. But he's further ahead that way, and these are all things that these young goalies they all do this very well. They're coming up, like I said, with goalie coaches forever. They're dealing with mentally the way he answers questions after the game. He's well polished, well versed in how to answer and how to be a team guy. So he's very similar to Carter Harder or Mackenzie Blackwood in those scenarios where these guys know exactly how to act and how to be good goalie teammates. So all of those things he has. I think physically he's just he challenges well. He's aggressive and he has good depth in different situations. So he's got lots to learn, but he's certainly on a proper path at this point.
Yeah, and I do know that he learned a lot of those qualities that you're just talking about, Razor, at Maine. I've talked to Red Gendron, his head coach at Maine for those years, about him. And Red said, look, I knew he was good.
I know Alfie really well. He's
right.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, Alfie Michaud, the coach there, the goalie, assistant coach / goalie coach up there at Maine. And, he learned a lot of that. And he learned to, not that he wasn't a good team player before by any stretch, but he learned about what it was about as well, being up there. And he was on some teams that weren't great up in Maine, which really, when I was playing, I remember when I was at Michigan, Miami, Ohio was a place where a lot of college goalies came out of to the pros because they faced so many shots. So many shots. And that's what he did. He faced, it was his junior or sophomore year, more shots than anybody in the NCAA as a starter. So, that's good training.
It's the best way to develop. It's the only way to develop. As a goalie, you always want to be on the middle team.
Yeah. So he learned a lot of great physical things there from Alfie, a lot of mental stuff from Alfie as well. Good for him. He's also an Alaska kid. I know he loves to hike and fish, and that's great. I like him even more because of that. Not much of a hiker. I am a fisherman, though. I love fish. I do love fly fishing, and I fished Alaska numerous times. Very fortunate to have been there. I can't remember it. To fish at least 3 times, maybe more. It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. And he's look, he does carry himself, and I do think that the Bruins are now in a pretty solid spot moving forward. I can't tell you that both these kids will end up being long-term solutions for him, But isn't it a good place to begin, knowing that at the very least it looks like they've got two major building blocks to take over eventually for Tuukka and Jarl?
Absolutely. It's as good of a start as you can imagine to have both of these guys getting games in this COVID season, to play well in this season, to have some experience. And it doesn't mean that both of them are going to be the starting goalie next year or they're jumping right in, but this is great for development. Again, Swayman's 22 years old. Listen, he can go back to Providence next year, play 65 games, and then he's really going to be ready. But he's already had this cup of tea, and so it's not – he doesn't have to be the guy in 2 weeks for everyone for him to still be – a major asset, a major piece for this organization going forward, and that's a lot further along than a lot of other organizations can say.
Yeah, good for him. Congrats to him. It's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blast.
It's got to be, right? I mean, you see,
and again, we said the same thing. I guess I didn't even mention it tonight, just because he played well and it was such a weird game, but that gives everybody energy.
Yeah,
it really and they look for energy. That gives the team energy when these two young goalies are in there kicking and trying their best and excited to play and happy to be playing, and they're not going through the same kind of grind that a goalie like Tuukka would be going through right now, where he's played 15 years in the league and he's just trying to get to the playoffs. These guys are given energy because they're excited. They're pumped every single day, and that can help a team through a 5 games in 7 day stretch. So the timing of this might be okay that way as well.
Yeah. We don't know who's going to start.
As long as they start.
Yeah, exactly. As long as they win, damn it.
It always comes down to that. Just stop the puck.
So we don't know who's going to start Thursday yet. We both said in the Nesson post-game show, we thought Vladar, if only because there's a good chance you're going to use the kids again this weekend coming up. We don't know Tuukka's situation. That will play out for us between full day of, we'll get information later today, Wednesday. Actually we won't, because the Bruins have the day fully off. So Thursday we'll know more. So if the Bruins aren't skating on Wednesday, if they're not going to skate this afternoon in Washington, unless there's ice for the injured guys that we don't know about, which there might be. Yeah,
I was thinking that that's a major reason why they went to Washington tonight. As much as it is nicer to go walk around the monument or whatever they're allowed to do, I would imagine it's a lot of it's based on those few injured guys being able to be in Washington and skate and not have to get on.
Yeah, why would you travel them otherwise? Why would you travel injured guys otherwise if you weren't going to have ice for them?
That's right. So they're going to be there's some way they're skating tomorrow, because again, to your point, they would just stay at Warrior and skate if that was the case.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll find out later today on Wednesday. Maybe not. There's no media, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But Thursday we'll find out if Tuukka is good to go or not. If not, my gut tells me Vladar. Just a gut. That's it. And then the Bruins have games again Saturday afternoon and Sunday evening, so back to back. So we will see 2 different goalies at the very least. Hell, we may see 3 goalies.
We might see all 3. We really might see all 3 guys in the next 3 games.
It's like a pitching rotation, you might see that.
Yeah.
All right, a few other things. Chris Wagner back in the lineup after being out for 6 games. Did he do enough in your eyes to stay in the lineup as on the 4th line?
It sounded like Cassidy was happy with him after the game. I'm a little confused on why they're changing something. So I think I just kind of go off of his comments. I thought he was happy, and he sent Wagner out in the last minute.
Yeah.
Not an ideal clear.
No.
The first clear from Wagner.
No.
By any means, but he didn't seem to say anything afterwards about that.
Which I wanted to address quickly. I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
I really like that a lot.
Yep.
So what we're referring to, folks, I don't know if you caught post game or not on Tuesday night after the game. He was asked about Chris Wagner a little bit, and he didn't mention one thing about Wagner not being able to clear the puck that led to 20 more seconds. I don't remember, 15, 20 more seconds in zone that the Bruins didn't get the puck out. And I'm going to guess that Bruce actually almost said something internally before he had up, because Bruce, again, very honest coach. But I think, just my take, I think he thought about it, and he's like, you know what, overall he had a pretty good game. He had a couple of hits, 4 he was credited with in the game. He ended up getting an assist in the game too. And, you know, I think Bruce did a really good thing not mentioning that there. We talked about in the postgame, but that's our job. But I think that's good player management right there. That's the thing. You maybe pull him aside, and you may not even need to pull him aside. It's one of those assistant coaches. It's like, hey, next time, get it out. I mean, that's it. He knows, right?
Or it's a joke. Or it's a joke, right? Sometimes you need a little, you know, you make fun of it at some point, you know, as you're getting on the plane tonight, you know, with the glass, you know, hey, you know, something funny just to break the ice to, you know, don't do it again, but not in a bad way. So I think Wagner checks back in. Because again, and we've talked about it, they need him to be the guy. I think everybody wants him to be the guy that he was and has been in playoff series. They just haven't got it, and they're trying to find a way to do it, and they've given other kids opportunity to take it. But at the end of the day, I think they want him to have that job. It's up to him to snatch it, and he did a pretty good job.
If you're going to put Senyshyn on the fourth line or Wagner, to me, Wagner.
No, that's right.
The other player that I thought deserved a quick mention was Jeremy Lauzon. 2409, so he led the defensive crew. His line included 3 attempts, 2 that missed, or 1 that missed the net, 2 that were blocked. None reached the net. He had 3 hits. He had 3 blocked shots. He had a nice assist to Marchand as well, understanding that he is not the goal scorer in that situation. So I liked his. He's not without fault here and there, but young kid play it, and he jumped up to play 24 minutes. I got no issue with that.
24 minutes, I didn't notice it, except for the pass to Marchand, which is a good thing, a really good thing for him. So again, he's still going to try and find his way, getting back to healthy. But tonight was another good, that's a step forward, if not 2 steps forward. So good for him and good for the 24 minutes.
All right, so after Tuesday night, your standings look like this. The Bruins, with 36 games played, have 46 points, beg your pardon. The Rangers, 38 games, 41 points. The Flyers, same thing, 38 games, 41 points. The Bruins have them both on regulation overtime wins, if there was a tiebreaker there. I mean, anyways, I think the Bruins have put themselves in a decent spot. You had the number in postgame on Tuesday night. What is it? If the Bruins go 500, the NHL version, 500 the rest of the way, what was it that the other 2 teams?
That gets them to 66 points, which means the other 2 teams have to get 28 points the rest of the way. So they have to go 14-3, 13-5, somewhere in there the rest of the way.
Okay. So what you're seeing right now is the Bruins' really good start, bank some points. This barely over 500 lull that they're going through right now has allowed them, they're just a little past that in the last 22 games, 23 games, I think, and 2 games over 500 maybe. God, I suck with numbers, so forgive me. But anyways, it's allowed them that cushion, and in theory they should. I'll leave it rhetorically asking, not asking you again. Is that what we want, though? Is that what Bruins fans want? I'm not sure, meaning to get into the playoffs and win 1 round or 2, and you kind of feel like, well, you know what, who knows? Or is it a year to not do anything because of this uncertainty, or because of the uncertainty of your team, and then try and kind of tweak on the fly again? We still got a couple of days. April 12th is the trade deadline before that happens, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We will talk about it a lot before then. In the meantime, Razor, let's get some rest on Wednesday. Take the rest of the day off if you can. I don't know if you can. You got your goalie school to go to, and I've got NHL Network. But otherwise, it's good to see the Bruins win. Find a way. Crazy game. Bruins win 4-2 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Game in Philly Thursday night. Razor and I will be doing the Washington Capitals hosting your Boston Bruins. In the meantime, enjoy your morning brew, especially enjoy your coffee.